Hello and welcome to another Death Star MOC vlog. And in today's episode, I will be showing the scenes from Rogue One. I'm also hitting my stride with what I want of these videos to be like. Obviously, I think volumes 1 and 2, there were some technical difficulties, some growing pains, and after taking my wife's iPad for this, I have a much better handle on how do I want to present the material and showcase it. Maybe when I'm done, all the volumes, I'll go back and redo the first videos. That would be a very George Lucas thing to do. And I totally get it now. When you spend so much time and effort creating something that you really care about, and you see the beginning and kind of go, I wish I could have done it better. Going back to it is a nice feature, so I get that. So totally get that, Mr. Lucas. Rogue One came out in 2016, directed by Gareth Edwards. Its inspiration came from the lines in the opening crawl of A New Hope that during the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star. So John Knoll pitches the idea to Kathleen Kennedy, and she approves it. I'll give her the credit there. This is by far the best movie Disney created with the Star Wars franchise. It's not just because of the time period or that there's Tarkin in it, but it's a war movie. That's what Gareth Edwards was going for, was a war movie. It speaks to that, and it's basically the Dirty Dozen in Star Wars. If you haven't seen Dirty Dozen, I recommend going to see it. If you haven't seen Rogue One, by all means, go and see it too. Rent that or download or whatever you do. Dirty Dozen, equally a good movie. Anyways, it's a great movie. I really like it. The Easter eggs are all nicely laid out. They never come across as too obvious. And I can be honest, that final scene always gives me goosebumps. And in the movie, we're introduced to director Orson Krennic. Through the movie and in the novel Catalyst, we see how he's vain and power hungry. He's certainly trying to climb the corporate ladders of the Imperial hierarchy. And, it comes across in the script, how he speaks, certainly comes across in the novel, but they do a great job, and they put him in an outfit that kind of makes him stand out. No one else wears a cape and a solid white uniform unless you're part of the Imperial Security Bureau. And that spacecraft he flies, it's huge. It's a Delta Class T-3C shuttle. And according to Wikipedia, he chose this ship due to his appreciation of its unusual geometry. In Catalyst, you find out that during the Clone Wars, Krennic was an architect. But I also like to think he picked it because it's oversized and it's certainly commanding. It's quite a visual ship. I think it's like his outfit or the fact that he always has death troopers with him at all times. There's a bit of a little man syndrome going on with Director Krennic. So he's a fleshed out villain. That's why I like him too. He's right up there with Tarkin in my opinion. So then Lego creates the model for his shuttle. And it has a really impressively high wingspan. And when they're upright, they measure 33 centimeters high. And this actually made me have to increase the size of the docking bay. Because if you think about it, I started really working, I got out of the dark ages of Lego, it was about odd 11. And so that's about 9 years ago. And I right away gravitated towards Star Wars Lego. And that's when I started dreaming of the Death Star, how it would be so cool to build a Death Star. I saw the model of it. I was like, that's awesome. So in any event, I had started creating and working on the Death Star well before Rogue One came out. So Rogue One 4 years ago came out and helped kind of push it in different directions. In any event, it meant that I was going to have to make the docking bay bigger because really I designed it so that different ships could come in and out of it. And at the base of the Death Star, it was really, there's two sets, so basically four in a square, of 32 by 32 base plates. That kind of gives it the base. It needs something structurally sound at the bottom. And that makes a length of 75.8 centimeters. So what I really wanted was the height of the Death Star and the width of the Death Star to be the same. We kind of give it that symmetrical shape. That's kind of like what a sphere looks like, but wouldn't be full sphere because I went with a boxy kind of design. In any event, because of making enough space for that the shuttle to fit in, I ended up having to expand it a bit. So now it actually is 79.2 centimeters high. And that's 3.4 centimeters off of what I wanted to be, and that's pretty much 3 bricks taller. But I was hard pressed to remove another layer without compromising the structural integrity, so it stayed this way. As for the model itself, it's set 75156. It was released in 2016 to coincide with the movie. It's really a great ship. There's all kinds of really awesome functionality to it, and it's one of the few things that I didn't put in a little bit of modifications to. I typically keep the standard model. I certainly am better at building vignettes, and that's more of my interest. So ships, I'm going to let the Lego Masters do that. But then I usually tweak it. In this case, no tweaking necessary. But as for what you see in front of you, the scene is kind of... I like to think that Tarkin moved up the demonstration time when they were going to test fire on Jeddah, just to annoy Krennic. Knowing the rivalry, it adds so much depth to this movie. It's certainly not required to understand what's happening here. But, that's all part of the good writing and story development. This is when Star Wars is tip-top, in my opinion, when they're looking at, let's have different aspects, novels, movies, comics, working together to create a really awesome environment. So anyways, we have a couple scenes now to look at. Talking about things kind of jostling there, and then there's that kind of long showdown between the two of them as they stare each other down. So you really get a good sense of all the different officers I've put into this, and how it kind of, the arrangement of it, the different uniforms, the different color variations by taking older officers with updated officers. I think it makes for a nice blend here. Another thing that was really awesome with Rogue One is it introduced a new observation room above the beam shaft. This was added in Rogue One, so after I watched the movie a couple times in the theaters, I tried to recreate it from memory. And certainly when the Blu-ray was released, I went right away to I was very excited to watch the movie, but to pause the screen and gather all the details. So what we have there is that little observation room above the beam shaft. And what we have here is the final scene from Rogue One, the interior of the Death Star, when Grand Moff Tarkin is advised by a balded officer of rebel incursion on Scarif, and that this is also from when he jumps to lightspeed, he gets there, and he single-file reactors on the base. Kind of the fitting scene when the Death Star that Krennic helped build, he stares up and he sees it in the atmosphere, and he gets blown up. Side note, whenever I see the moon in certain positions, I always say to my kids, hey, there's the Death Star moon. Anyways, just great imagery in my opinion. So what we have here is just a regular Imperial officer, and I put a balded minifigure head, well, essentially balded by not putting any hair on him. And his older one, he was the officer that came with the the more brown outfit from Star Wars Rebels. So he has a bit of bags under his eyes, so he looks older, so I thought he matched perfectly here. And here are where the scenes take place in my MOC. So we have the hanging bay over here. No ships are in there just yet. And then when you just pan up here, that is where your command center is. So you have the control room, and there's Tarkin waiting for Krennic and all the other officers. There's a main hallway down there. And as you see there, below it is the docking bay. From over here, you can see one of the hallways that I used a picture from, and that looks right into the docking bay. So you have a bit of a hallway down there with some troopers. And then when you pan up here, there's the other side of the command room. Over here is where the beam shaft is located. Again, I'm working on how to demonstrate the firing mechanism, but at the time of video, that had not yet been fixed. And then when you scroll over here, you have that observation room that does look out over to that, which you saw in Rogue One. And right beside it is the gunner's control room. So those are the different sections that were used in this scene, kind of representing the Death Star from Rogue One. And here is the Death Star all lit up. The lights in the Lego room are off, so this is just from the lights inside of the Death Star. You'll notice that there is slight variation in color difference. The top lights and throughout the whole Death Star are using, from Brickstuff, they are called Cool White. But when I was completing the build, and I needed more lights, they didn't have any more, so I had to buy the other version, which is Warm White. So it does offer a bit of a different color, but it works to the advantage because there's kind of the docking bay, different set of lighting, and then you go into the different rooms of the Death Star. So again, this is just to show you what it would look like when it's all lit up and the lights are off. I don't know if it picks it up well. Certainly from the naked eye, it looks good. So if we pan out, you get kind of a really good sense of what the Death Star looks like when it's all lit up. Anyways, what do you think about Rogue One? Was it the best Disney Star Wars movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And thank you for watching, and stay safe. Until next time.